My name's Jim Miller. I was a longtime coach myself, 37 years, coached at the high school level in Iowa for 7, Northern Iowa for 8 as an assistant, and a Division III school, Wartburg College, for 22, where we won 10 NCAA championships. I grew up 5 years younger than Dan Gable in the city of Waterloo, Iowa, which was a mecca of wrestling at that point. You know, I think people still do look to Waterloo for a number of reasons because there's been so many great athletes come out of Waterloo and wrestling and other sports as well. But Dan Gable's the name that people always point to, you know, and Dan went through Waterloo West High School, won 3 state championships. And back in those days, that's the number of years you could wrestle 3 times. You know, you didn't have ninth graders wrestling at the varsity level at that time. And then he went on to Iowa State. And back then, you couldn't wrestle your freshman year. You couldn't compete in athletics back then. That was the rule back then, that athletes didn't sit. So he won 2 national titles his sophomore year. His junior year was undefeated, and was undefeated his senior year and got beat in the finals of the national tournament. Probably the biggest upset in history of wrestling, collegiate wrestling. But that really, talking to Dan, you know, that really changed things for him. That really inspired him. It made him get to the world level, and he got a lot better after that. And that was in 1970 when he lost the one match, and in high school or college. And then he went on the very next year, in 1971, he won the world championship. And in 1972, he won the Olympic gold medal. And without a point even being scored on in the whole Olympic tournament, which was it's unheard of. And so from there, you know, Dan went to the very controversial thing back in the day. He was at Iowa State when he wrestled collegiately. He went to Iowa. Oh my God.
Yeah. Right.
Goes to Iowa to start coaching. He was an assistant to a guy named Gary Kurtemeyer for 4 years, and then took over the head coach. And then 21 years at Iowa coaching as the head coach, won 21 Big Ten championships in a row and 15 national titles. I mean, I don't know of any sport, any coach in any sport with those kind of statistics. 15 national titles in 21 years.
In 21 years,
and,
wow.
Yeah, he had 106 Big Ten champions in that time. The whole rest of the Big Ten had 104 put together. So all the other schools put together. So, you know, it's some domination of unheard of scenarios. So that's a quick synopsis of Dan. And right now he's enjoying life, got 13 grandkids. But he's still, like I said, the face of wrestling. He's everywhere, every place we go. When we travel together, I'm ordering something and he's signing autographs. You know, no matter where you're at, whether it's Jimmy John's or, you know, so it's pretty interesting.
If you know wrestling, you know him. Yeah. Well,
yes.
The thing that I find that's most interesting in all of that, and I've heard this about him from other people, one loss, and the one loss might be the most pivotal thing in all of those wins.
100%.
And he learned from that. Yeah, that's impressive, because people think, oh, losing is bad. Well, yes, but he used that as a motivational factor and a learning factor as well, which sometimes we don't get from losses.
You don't, man. And in that case, the Des Moines Register, the biggest paper in Iowa, on the headline of the sports, I mean, this is a huge headline. Gable fails was the headline.
Wow. Yeah.
And so don't think that didn't spur him on. And it was tough. I mean, I know it was tough for him, but made a huge difference in his career, and the jumps he made after that, unprecedented. So, it ended up being, you never want to say, hey, you want to be like, as a coach, hey, let's learn the same lesson and win, you know?
Right.
But, But sometimes
I've been there.
Yeah. When you do lose, if you can make it a positive, you can jump levels.
Well, tell me a little bit about the museum and where it's located and how it came to be.
You there, Frank?
Yes, sir. We got a little freeze up here. Unbelievable.
Yeah, okay. The museum is in Waterloo, Iowa. and it's been here about 12 years. And, you know, it's a popular place, and it's a very unique place because, you know, we have our own wrestling room. People can come in here and train. We have clubs, boys and girls. And there's a lot of unbelievable stuff in here on the sport of wrestling. But, you know, we're trying to lift up the whole community. We're trying to inspire young people. We recognize excellence in the sport. And so that's kind of our mission. And Dan Gable obviously has a big name here in Waterloo, Iowa, and across the state, for that matter, in the nation. But so we have people from all over the country stop in at the Gable Museum.
And it's in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, is that correct?
Okay, yeah, our name is the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. The National Wrestling Hall of Fame, there's one in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where Oklahoma State is. And they own this property, the Dan Gable Museum. National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum is our official name. And so, yeah, but you got two great cities in the sport of wrestling. Oklahoma State, who has the most national championships in history, and Waterloo, Iowa, the home of Gable and many others. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. So have you had any slowdown or anything that's held you back because of the lack of travel and restrictions and from the pandemic and everything? Or
we have, and we've been, you know, actually shut down for a while, but online stuff, Zoom meetings like this or calls, but we've done a lot of sales just online. I mean, we got a lot of, you know, people want to tune in. The social media has been a big deal, and we're doing our best.
Well, you know, the thing that I like about what you've done is that you've taken a sport. I'm a former basketball guy, former basketball coach. Sure. And I appreciate wrestlers more so now than I did when I was a player as a kid, because I would see the wrestlers killing themselves during workouts. But you're only out there for 9 minutes. What's going on? And I understand now that self-discipline, all of that is much more than a basketball player ever had or ever thought of having. And then I had the good fortune to, one of my old friends, his son was wrestling at a meet here in Las Vegas. Hi, Lucas. And we had a chance to go see him and all the young men that were performing that meet. And it was fantastic. Great camaraderie. You rarely saw anybody that didn't pick up the other player or the other wrestler. You know, it was like, we're here to compete, but we're also all here to compete together. If I win, great. If he wins, great. I want to beat him, but I don't want to beat him down. And that's what I loved about the sport, what I've seen about the sport.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, yeah. So what I like to spotlight are things like this. Now, when people come in, what's the first thing they're going to see?
They're going to see a big mural of maybe famous wrestlers. Gable is obviously the most prominent, but they're going to see our women highlighted, and our USA Wrestling women are fantastic. And and we keep getting better. We're one of the best countries in the world in women's wrestling. But they're also going to see a spotlight of famous wrestlers. For instance, Cale Sanderson, the head coach of Penn State right now, he was 159-0 at Iowa State as well. He also went through Iowa State. And Bobby Douglas and some of the people that have been cornerstones of our sport. And there's a lot of them, but you're going to see a lot of them in our. We are very proud of you know, showing our heroes in the sport. You're also going to see our wrestling room, our training center, and it's very unusual for a museum to have a training center, locker room, a sauna, and all that kind of thing. So we have, you know, we have people. We've had colleges come in and scrimmage. We've had young our youth in there a number of times. We've had events in there. We take the mats up and have events and so forth. So. It's a pretty cool scenario. So I'll send you a video tour, and
okay, that I would appreciate that. We'll post that along with the show and all the links to everything. And you know, Jim, I appreciate you taking the time. I know we're having a little technical difficulty here, but I appreciate you taking the time to spotlight what you do and what you have there, and hopefully we can throw some people your way. I'm going to make sure that we talk to some more wrestlers. We've got a few people. If you were to say these are the people you need to speak to right now in the sport of wrestling, who are the like the 5 or so people that we really need to talk to?
Man, that's a good one. I would say if if you're talking about, there's some athletes you should talk to. There's USA Wrestling, the head coach at the USA for the women and men. We should probably talk to Mike Moyers, the National Wrestling Coaches Association. He's added college programs right and left, men and women. He'd be a good guy to talk to, but I can help you with that. And if you want some numbers and stuff, I'd be glad to help you.
Okay, that's great. I mean, it's like I said, I'm a recent convert. I'm an
cool.
old basketball guy who's understanding the importance of this. I'm a team sport guy, and I didn't quite grasp how much of a team sport an individual sport could be.
For sure.
If you know what I mean. Yeah. I mean, I'm a tennis player as well, and I got that. But you won your match, and you did what you did, and you hoped everyone else won their match. You cheered them on, but I couldn't really help them unless I won my match. But I see in wrestling, you've got guys in, concurrent weight classes, wrestling, working together, trying to make each other better, teaching each other moves, learning from each other. And while they're getting better, everybody else on the team is getting better too, even the guys that aren't your first line wrestlers. So that's pretty impressive.
That's right.
Okay.
And well, really, Frank, at some point we should try to get Gable on board with you. I would
love that if he would be willing to come on. That would be great.
Yeah, we'll work on that too.
If you can arrange that, I'll send a whatever you want me to send. I'll send it.
Okay, buddy.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And like I said, we'll get the links together. We'll let you know what's going on, and we'll move all along from there. Enjoy your day.
Thanks a lot.